Alright, what's going on, everybody? So, Gyrfalcon'S Hauberk has gotten a huge buff in PvE. They've kind of changed the exotic and how it works. So, normally when you come out of Invis, you get a damage boost. However, now with the exotic, your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. When you are invisible and defeat a combatant while using a finisher, all of your weapons gain bonus damage. You and your nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improved class ability regeneration. These reserve overshields can be deployed by using a class ability. It's actually a really insane difference in PvE. I got a build that I'm going to be showing. So, basically you want to have a really good energy weapon. That's void, obviously. You can, use a couple different things, like Unforgiven is good. Also, Collective Obligation is good. There's a ton of different weapons that you can pair with this, like Ruinous Effigy. There's a ton. But for the sake of this video, I'll be using Unforgiven. And now, if you are lucky enough to get an Unforgiven with a Repulsor Brace, what this does is upon killing an enemy affected by a Void debuff, you will actually get an Overshield. So basically, if you have that, which I don't, unfortunately, I really wish I did, but that would, make this build even better for higher end PvE content. Because not only are you going to have unlimited invisibility, unlimited Devour, unlimited Volatile rounds, you'd also have an Overshield that would just keep being applied to you over and over. Because how often you're going to have Volatile rounds, it's going to be really easy to have enemies that are, suppressed to Void. So it's going to be nasty if you have that. Unfortunately, I don't, but I will make a video further down the line on when I do get that, because that just, brings it to the next level. But I'm curious to see what exotics would you pair with this. There's Ruinous Effigy, like I said earlier. There's a ton. For our subclass, we're going to be using Mobius Quiver. I just like that for the 2 tethers. Marksman's Dodge is what I use because we don't need the Smoke Bomb. Triple Jump, Snare Bomb, obviously, and then for grenades, I'm going to be using Suppressor Grenade, but you can mess around with a grenade and, kind of decide what you want to use. I only use Suppressor Grenade just because I like to have it for doing boss DPS if I don't have my tether or something. I just like it, but the grenade can be changed. It's totally up to you. For aspects, we have Stylus Executioner because defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target will give you invisibility. Now, this is clutch. It will basically make it so you have unlimited invisibility and unlimited volatile rounds throughout the whole time, pretty much, and if you don't, you can finish an enemy or dodge, and you'll have your invis, and boom, volatile rounds again. You also want Vanishing Step, so when you dodge, you are invisible. And for fragments, what we want to use is Echo of Starvation, because Devour is nasty with this, and when we pick up an Overpower, we will get Devour. We're also going to be using Echo of Obscurity, because we want to have invisibility when we use our finisher. We also are going to be using Echo of Harvest, which is really good, because defeating weakened targets with precision final blows will create an Orb of Power. Just another way to create Orb of Power for Devour, as well as Echo of Persistence. Void buffs applied to you, Invis, Overshield, and Devour will all have an increased duration. Just makes it so you don't run out as often of your Devour, and yeah, that's pretty much it for that. And then, your kinetic and energy, really up to you. I'm just using this for Unstoppable and then just for damage. And for our mods that we're going to be using for this build, we're going to be using Void Siphon. So when we kill enemies with our SMG, it also has a chance of creating an Orb of Power, as well as Reaping Wellmaker after activating our class ability, so our dodge. Our next, weapon, Final Blow, will be a Void Elemental Well. So after we dodge for Invis, kill an enemy, boom, we can have a Well. And then we're also going to be using Well of Tenacity, which picking up a Void Elemental Well reduces the damage you take. So to pair this with the Overshield, if you had that roll on this SMG, paired with Devour, paired with the Invis, you're basically like a walking tank. It's pretty insane. And for our chest piece, we're going to have on Elemental Armaments, which combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches its subclass element will have a chance of spawning an elemental well. So since we're using a void weapon with a void subclass, it has the chance of making void wells, which is what we need. There are also other good well mods you can get, like Bountiful Wells, that you can use as stack wells when you pick them up, and you can also swap Well of Utility out for Bountiful Wells, and Font of Might, which will give you a bonus void damage for a short period of time. You can also pair some grenade well mods as well if you want to have a grenade build with this, but honestly you won't need it in this build at all with how much DPS would be doing with your weapons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the Lost Sector. I'm not going to clear it. I'm going to show you like the first 2 rooms, only because I don't feel like. So I'm going to do it real quick, because I'm going to show you this in the Lost Sector just really quickly. I'm not going to be in there for too long and waste your time. I'll show clips and other activities with it too. But right now, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to go into Lost Sector just to show you and explain live kind of how the build will work. So there's a couple different things that we can do right off the rip. If we want Invis, we can either dodge or we can use a finisher to get this activated. So I'm just going to use a finisher on this enemy, right? So we have our Void Invisibility, and this is where things, we have our Volatile rounds, and if I make an Orb of Power, which is what I'm going to try to do here, because that will come in clutch. if we can get our Devour cooking. So there's an orb of power. So you see we're low health. We pick up those orbs, full health. And we're just going to keep spraying kind of all day here. Keep getting our invis back because we're killing enemies with our volatile rounds. And our Devour and volatile rounds timer keeps refreshing because we're getting kills with it. And we we're going invis. That keeps the kills will keep the Devour up, and the invis will make it so you get your volatile rounds back. And as you can see, you're just a spraying machine. Truthfully, we're also making wells on top of it too. The overload just stands no chance. These enemies are just kind of getting rolled right here. As you can see, this thing is absolutely disgusting. Like, I did not think the change to Gyrfalcon'S would be this good, but boy were we wrong. So really quickly, it's going to kill an enemy with a rocket. Just keep Devour up. I'm going to dodge for my invis, and when I get that kill, I also get that well. That's part of the mods that we're using, as you see there. I'm just going to clear this room, just keep killing enemies. I'm not really going for the clear, I'm just trying to show this off. Yeah, as you can see, you just clear through this like it's nothing. Now pair an overshield on top of this with this SMG, and we have an absolutely nasty build. We got this ogre we gotta get rid of really quickly, just because, you know, I don't want to mess with him. This guy's arc. Blow up my rocket and shoot him. Yeah, as you see, we're kind of just steamrolling through these enemies. A lot of them have arc, which isn't our favorite, but as you see, we just steamrolling through these enemies. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All I'm going to show in this lost sector. As you can see, this build is absolutely disgusting. I'm going to show a couple more clips as well of me using it in different activities, just to show you it's pretty much good in everything. This is a Legend Lost sector, and I'm kind of just steamrolling through it. So as you can see, it's pretty disgusting, and I'll show a couple other clips too, just so you can see. Look at how nasty this is, dude. Bruh.